Now for the clash. And it seems Prince Harry's grotesque memoir is backfiring on the Sussexes on both sides of the Atlantic. In a special investigation, the Sun newspaper has spoke firsthand to ordinary Americans across the states and discovered that their popularity in the US has crumbled because everyone is fed up of the couple's oversharing in deranged media appearances. One American interviewee told the newspaper Harry should have recognised he's not like the rest of us and not exposed all that dirty linen. Another said it's an ugliness we don't really want to see, even though all families have that side to them. It's made so many people uncomfortable. Harry's approval rating has dropped from +38 to -7, while Meghan's bottomed out at -13 in a recent poll for the liberal US publication Newsweek. Almost half of Americans also said Harry was wrong to include details of private family conversations in his book. So, as their popularity plummets stateside, should Harry and Meghan be welcomed back if America rejects them? Let me know your thoughts by emailing dan@gbnews.uk. You can tweet me at GBNews, and while you're there, go and vote in our poll. Those results shortly. But to help you make up your mind, former butler and rock, of course, to Princess Diana, her words, Paul Burrell, the YouTuber and royal commentator Paul Diner, and the top US entertainment reporter Dax Holt. So, Paul, we've got two American voices who we're going to hear from in just a moment because they're starkly opposed as to where the Sussexes stand stateside. But how do you feel, Paul, about this idea that actually quite soon Harry and Meghan might be needing to return to work in the UK, at least, as their reputation plummets in the US?
I don't think they will, Dan. I don't think they can. I've just returned from America myself. My boys, I've been visiting over Christmas, are 37 and 34, and they grew up with William and Harry, and they're listening to people of their own age, and they are saying we're sick and tired of them whinging and whining when they have so much. Now, it's becoming ugly and uncomfortable, the conversations. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Harry's circumcision, his frozen penis, and Kate's lip gloss, quite frankly. It is in total contrast to the dignity and grace of our late Queen's reign. And I don't want to hear any more of it. I think it's a sad, sad situation. It's going to go on. You're not going to hear the end of this, because now the book's published, Netflix will want their two penneth, because they've been slightly eclipsed by this publication, and they will want their exclusives too. So watch out, Dan, because there's more to come.
Pete Diner, do Americans want any more of this, though? Because surely if you're a big Hollywood corporation, you're looking at those poll numbers and thinking we're shelling out hundreds of millions of dollars on two highly unpopular people.
Yeah, I believe that, they do want to have this salacious gossip, but it's not good. It's not good that you bring someone like Prince Harry and his wife to America, and then they start behaving like this. I think it's a clear representation as us, as a people. It makes us look bad, and it brings everything down. It's like Jerry Springer in the royal family. You don't do this because it sets a tone and a precedence that Americans bring this on people. The royal family, they're not used to this. This has never happened before. But you bring an American into the royal family, and then all of a sudden it's a circus. It's ridiculous. And I think it's a representation of me as a Black woman, having someone who wants to represent herself as a Black woman now out of the blue. She's representing people like me, and I clearly speak against this kind of ignorance in culture. We have to educate ourselves about other countries and understand that we have to have a certain way about us when we go abroad and represent ourselves in a good way. But that's not what she's doing with her husband and Harry, and they should clearly not be invited on that balcony. I'm just disgusted at their behavior because it represents us and our people.
Dax Holt, you're obviously on the other side of this. You're one of the top entertainment reporters in the US. I believe that that Meghan, at least, is a fan of your work, and you're a big fan of their work. But can you understand that this is starting to fall apart a little bit, Dax, because the highly paid executive at Spotify who commissioned this podcast by Meghan Markle and signed the deal with Meghan and Harry has just been forced out of her job?
Yeah, but I think what everyone like, here's the thing. I have never in my 2 decades of working in entertainment journalism seen anyone be as vilified by the press, by YouTubers, by people in the media as I have seen this with Harry and Meghan. It is like it is out of control. It's on a different level, and I'm trying to figure out what the end goal is for destroying, like, going after them for every single thing they say, every move they make. Clearly, the world, you guys are making it sound like the U.S. doesn't want them. That's not the case. One singular poll by Newsweek is not representative of the U.S. as a whole. I also think you have to look at who wrote that story. The reporter behind that story has done numerous articles bashing the Meghan and Harry repeatedly over and over and over again. So am I going to believe a poll by someone who is clearly has a bias and is trying to push that bias on the world? No, like I said, what is the end goal? Are you wanting her to disappear? Are you wanting her to end her life? Like, what is it? Are you going to push someone so far that they're over it? I'm being totally honest.
No, Dax,
Crazy.
I think that's a really terrible thing.
What do you mean that's crazy? I've literally watched your YouTube.
Crazy. Listen,
and
I know
all you do
Dax,
is rail on them left and right.
You've asked a question, Dax. Let Paul Burrell respond to that.
That is crazy to say that. We wouldn't want any harm come to Harry and Meghan, but if they stayed quiet and lived a dignified life and did the work they're supposed to do, then
and not defend themselves ever for all the stuff in the media.
Family. So why would Harry want to destroy and dismantle the very institution which he came from, which his mother loved? Why would he want to do that? So Harry, stay quiet.
The institution isn't as great as they make it seem.
Dax, you must.
I know the situation. I know the institution. Don't tell me about the institution. I've lived in it. I lived in it for 21 years. I know the way Harry and Meghan came into the royal family. I know exactly what the Queen did for Harry and Meghan. She bent over backwards to try and accommodate all their whims and all their wishes, but nothing was good enough. She stayed for 18 months.
Indeed. And Dax, can I just say, and Pete Diner,
was in the system for 18 years.
Yeah, and Pete Diner, I'll let you come in a moment. But Dax, I want to make a very serious point here. I think what you have just done tonight is actually chilling, and it's a tactic that's been used a lot by the left. It's a tactic that is being used a lot by Harry and Meghan. They're able to throw as many grenades as they want. They're able to attack Paul Burrell. They're able to attack me. They're able to attack the late Queen. They're able to attack the late Princess Margaret. They're able to attack Prince William. They're able to attack Kate. And then the moment that any scrutiny is put on their lies and their claims that are largely untrue, folk like you and folk like them raise mental health at that point. What about the mental health of all of the people who they have slandered?
Why are they never allowed to defend themselves? Anytime they defend themselves, everyone attacks them. That's the point, is they're never allowed to defend themselves without a panel of people destroying them.
Pete Diner, the book wasn't about them defending themselves. They have put out the most horrid allegations about Prince William. They want to destroy his reputation forevermore.
They're trying to do things that Prince Harry knew that he was supposed to be there to support his brother. He had a job to do. And he's going around acting like he doesn't want to do any of the things that were expected of him all of a sudden. Why do we think that is? It's because he has married a woman who has put something in his ear, brought him to America. He needs to be over in England. He is a prince. He does not.
Why does everyone blame her for everything? Pete, why do you blame her? Married a woman that has got in his ear. Maybe he's been unhappy for a long time.
By the way, Dax, if you've read what I have said over many, many months and years, I've never blamed Meghan, actually. I've said they're both equally responsible. Paul Burrell, where do you stand on that? Because for me, I don't think it's fair to blame Meghan. I know Pete Diner does, but Paul, I think they're both equally responsible. This was Harry's book. I'm sure he is influenced by his wife, but he made the decision to turn on his family. He could have stood up to her.
Harry should know better. He was brought up better. He was brought up in an institution. His mother taught him better. She had him for 11 years. And what Harry's doing now, he's seeing the world through an 11-year-old's eyes. And Harry isn't well. I'm sure that he needs help because the things he's saying, he shouldn't be saying. His late grandmother will be turning in her grave if she heard what he was saying about the institution of the monarchy, which she devoted her 70 years life service to. It's appalling. It really is appalling. He should just stop doing what he's doing. Stop it, Harry. Stop it.
And ask yourself, if Meghan loved her husband, she should clearly see that what he is doing is not good for his mental health. She should not be encouraging this. There should be some kind of voice that she's coming out and saying that this is not healthy for my husband.
Okay, Dax, final word to you, Dax.
Why for his mental health? Clearly, he said numerous times, being there and being inside the institution was rough on his mental health. What are you not listening to him about?
His mental health is part of the problem with his wife. She's the reason why he's in the predicament that he's in now.
You got to stop blaming her for everything. This is out of control.
Okay, well, look, fascinating debate, but I will just stress again, Dax, I don't blame her. I blame them both equally. Really good debate. That's one of the US's top entertainment reporters, Dax Holt, alongside the YouTuber and royal commentator P. Diner, and of course, Diana's rock, Paul Burrell. So who do you agree with on this? Should Harry and Meghan be welcomed back if America rejects them? Ali says, absolutely not. They've done their utmost to damage our monarchy. How could we ever trust them or hold any affection for them ever again? Mark on Twitter says, of course he should be allowed. He was born here. And from Steve, Harry can come back and retire to an isolated Scottish island, never to be seen in public again. But the American, no. And your verdict is now in. Just 9% of you agree that Harry and Meghan should be welcomed back if America rejects them. 91% of you say stay away.